Hey, Aadila,
Hey,
how are you?
how's it going? What's good?
Very well. Wow, I see it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day over there.
You know what? It's not that sunny here. Let me do
Oh,
this.
really?
You see those clouds?
Oh, yes. Looks like some thunder is coming.
A lot of thunder. It's insane. I can feel like the building shaking.
No, really? Oh, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's wild. It's wild. So yeah, there's like definitely a storm or brewing. Like it's crazy. They're so dark.
right. Crazy. That would freak me out.
Yeah, it's wild. A couple years ago we had a little earthquake tremor and
Oh,
like yeah, it was insane. Like everything was like, "Ah," and then it stopped, and we were all like, "What the?" Pardon my
oh,
language.
man. I believe it. Well, I live very, very, how do I say, very down. So
I was
nothing
gonna say,
shakes here.
you're like, it's not happening.
Yes, exactly.
Hilarious.
Adele, I want to thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you
A-
for your time.
Absolutely, of course. And well, first of all, welcome to the Nancy Drew family.
Thank you.
So I was wondering, because your co-stars Kennedy, Leah, Madison, they all started it together, like in 2019. So I was
Yeah.
wondering for you, how much pressure did you feel, joining a family that is already 2 seasons in?
Honestly, initially, a lot. Like, I'd be lying if I say I didn't.
All right.
Right? Like, because you never know, because all these like relationships and friendships have been developed, and everyone is so tight on that show. But it was incredibly wonderful. Like as soon as we got on the show, Praneet and I, Chunji, the who plays Nick, reached out, and we all went out for coffee, and like he kind of just like welcomed us in, and they literally opened like they welcomed us with open arms into the family. And from that like first moment on, all the anxiety was gone. They are, and like I don't say this often, but like the most incredible, down to earth, hilarious humans ever, which is so dope, right?
Yeah,
So
that's beautiful.
it
That's
was
that's
awesome.
exactly what you want, right? You want to feel like included right away. That's the best, right?
Totally. And we totally were. And like, I mean, we all know it. There's like shows you go on where you're just like, I'm gonna sit in my corner and just pretend I'm not here. I'll say my lines, okay, bye. So
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't want
this
that.
isn't it at all. I know. I was like, am I spilling tea? I just won't say what show.
Oopsie.
Oopsie.
No, but the great thing is your character Amanda was introduced already in season one, in episode one of season two.
Yes.
And now, but from episode seven on, we get to see a lot more of Amanda. So maybe you can tell us in your own words what to expect.
Yeah. So Amanda, as I guess everyone knows now, is one half of the infamous Bobbsey Twins, but we're basically there. We stir some stuff up this season with the Drew crew, which is like pretty
Ooh.
awesome. And Amanda, my character, she's great. Like I still read scripts that are coming in because we film until the end of April, where I'm like, oh,
Oh, right.
so freaking dope. She does this and she's this. And so my storyline is basically, I'm the twin who kind of we grew up on the wrong side of the streets, and I kind of like just hope for better. I want to experience it all. I want to have a better life. Amanda wants to just do it all and experience the world, and she kind of does that through the Drew crew. And with doing that, kind of stirs up some pre-existing relationships within the crew. She may
Oh,
or may not, have a romance with one of the humans in the Drew crew, which we start to find in episode 7. And
oh, already.
yeah, and
All
then
right.
it gets steamy.
All right. Very excited to see that.
Yeah, it's cool. I won't say who yet, but you guys will see. And
Right.
it's pretty fun. It's very unexpected too.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
March 10th, everyone.
Stay tuned.
um, it's the fascinating thing about the Bobbsey twins is now that they originally came from an upper middle class family, and now
Yeah.
they grew up before. How do you feel about that change?
Honestly, I think it's such a great take on it. I mean, yeah, because originally there are two sets of very affluent Caucasian twins. And I just love how like the EPs and the showrunners of this show kind of just plopped us into the universe as like two South Asian kids without an explanation as to why we belong there. Because I find with a lot of things, like there's always like a backstory as to where they came from and why they belong in the world. Whereas in this, it's just like, no, we are who we are. We belong. We grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, which we start to uncover a lot of throughout the season. That's, you know, that's kind of what lends to like mine and Gil's conflict. And we explore a lot of those codependency issues and all of that stuff that twins normally do. But I think it's freaking wonderful, man. The fact that like two South Asian kids from the same hometown from Calgary can play these already existing characters in literature is massive. It's like a really great take for like where we're moving forward in the industry and representation itself, right? So
absolutely, yes, and that's wonderful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I love about the show is, you know, the ghosts that we deal with. I mean, as of now, I don't know what's to come, but as of now, the ghosts, they aren't just pure evil. They all have their own background, and it's often they are often suffering from what happened to them when they were still alive, and I feel like that gives those ghosts much more depth. Would you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's what I love about this season, and that like we really start to explore like the psychological elements of like what's real, what's not real, and like really go into like all of quite like a few like mental health things, you know, which I think is so prevalent, especially with where we're at universally right now with everything that's kind of happened. And it really does give depth to all the characters, you know what I mean? Because it gives them, it's like in like a traditional ghost story, the ghosts are bad, right? And it like it's like more a horror story. Whereas in this, there's always a really dope payoff because like you said, the ghosts are dealing with their own conflict and like need to like, exactly release themselves of the like the chains that they kind of have on them. And so it's really cool. We explore a lot of those psychological elements through the supernatural and how it affects humans as well. And I think I think you guys will really like season 2 for that. It's really dope. It's like written so well.
So, and are we gonna, you know, because now we know that, you know, that Nancy opened all the boxes and so many ghosts escaped.
She opens all the boxes. I'm like, Nancy, what's up, man? Leave a box closed.
All of these again.
Like all the casualties, all the ghosts. Okay, I didn't even realize how much of a ghost story this show is. Like sometimes I hate horror movies. Candyman and Bloody Mary have like scarred me for life. So I sometimes have to watch these episodes in the daylight because I can't watch scary things at night.
Wow. All right. So would you say it's actually more fun doing horror than watching it?
Yeah. I think so. For me, I am like a chicken, man. It's brutal. Like, yes, I am that girl who still sleeps with a nightlight. It's fine. I might have my teddy bears. Winnie the Pooh is with me all the time, but that's cool.
Don't blame the teddy bears. They are great.
Don't blame right? I'm like, I need them. Protect me, Winnie. Please protect me. And you're like jar of honey. Throw it on the ghosts that appear from under my bed.
Oh man. No, but you know, my question will be now that all these ghosts are out, you know, are we you know, will we get to see, you know, like episodes, you know, that you know, like ghost of the week kind of episodes, or are we still looking, you know, at long-term cases?
You get a bit of both.
All right.
Yeah, you get a bit of both. So there's definitely, you'll see a really awesome through line with the characters. And then you also get like the episode, like the ghosts of the weeks, the supernatural elements of the weeks, I should say, right? As well. And I think that's what makes like you were saying before, like I think that's what makes these ghost stories even juicier because you definitely get to see both of those in conjunction with one another, and I feel like it totally deepens that element.
Ooh,
Yeah.
sounds very
Yeah.
fun though too.
Which is why I'm like, you have to watch the season, like, because you know sometimes you're like, if you just watch an episode, it's more episodically based, where you can just kind of like go in and out because it's all like that episode is based on that one storyline, whereas with this season there's definitely through lines with it all, like dope through lines that like you
really
don't
have to see the whole thing in order to have the entire
because there's going to be some really great payoffs in the end. And like I said, like even when I read stuff, I'm like, oh shoot, this is smart. Like I wasn't expecting it, and like you get some really really great payoffs. It's cool.
That is amazing, because of course you don't want to go to the showrunners and go like, hey, I don't like this, can we please do something else with my character?
Hell no, I ain't doing that. I'm a chicken, like I said.
That's true.
I'm very Canadian.
Nothing wrong about that. I mean,
nothing wrong with that. Exactly. Yeah, but it's rad, man.
Yeah. So I've heard that your mother was actually even more excited than you when you got the part. Is that right?
Yes, that is so right. My mom is like a huge sleuther. So she has all the Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, and a lot of the Bobbsey Twin books. And then she watches the show. So she's been watching it since day one, this rendition of Nancy Drew.
Wow.
Like she doesn't even PVR it. Like my family watches it in real time. They're obsessed. So.
All right. So
yeah,
whenever one episode there's, they're right there.
They're right there. She's like texting the family. Because they were like, she was like, oh my gosh, you're going to be in episode 1 of season 2. When I called her to tell her the news, she was so excited. But then she like was like, okay, now listen, you need to know this about this character, this about this character. This is their relationship right now. This is their conflict. Okay, where are you going to fit in? And I was like, thank you for doing my homework. But yeah, she texts the fam. Like, I was like, I'm not like, Mom, you don't have to like tell everyone. There's like threads. It's like the South Asian way, you know, it's like the brown way. Like they're just like, nah.
Right. No, but it must be so beautiful for her, you know, to see her own daughter on screen and playing a character in a show, you know, Nancy Drew, that she already loved for so many years. That is just so unique, I feel like.
Yeah, it's so great. Like my parents are so proud, and I gotta say, I'm like so lucky to have them. I mean, they've supported me through thick and thin with all of this, and it ain't no easy feat, right? So as we know.
But how is it for you? Do you also watch, you know, the episodes when they actually air, or do you get to see them before?
No, we watch them when they air as well. So we're watching it with the audience. Yeah, we never get to see them before. So it's really freaking cool because like you get to experience it with everyone else. And
yeah, it's beautiful. And I mean, you get to see it with your co-stars, you know, you can react to it, and the fans can react to it, and you can share that. That's wonderful.
Exactly. And it's really cool too, because it's like a lot of times you think something is going to look a certain way or be edited a certain way, and then it completely surprises you, and you're like, I never, like, you know, you're in the shots, you're doing the shots, but then when it's put together, you're like, oh my gosh, I did not think it would be like composed that way. That's wild and so much cooler. Like it's so much more outside the box than I thought what it was going to look like. So it's wild watching them too, because you're just like, oh, cool. I get what you were asking me to do when I was like, what are you talking about?
It makes sense then.
It makes sense. And then it's like, check yourself, Aadila. You know?
Okay. Yeah, roll your eyes. I do the same.
I know. All the time, right? I was like, this is my problem.
I would love to get back to something you said earlier, and it's representation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful that I mean, and it's not only in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. And so I was wondering, when you look back a few years, how would you describe the development when it comes down to representation?
Oh man, I mean, what a loaded question, but a great one. I feel like we're moving forward in like a really great way. And I feel like shows like Nancy Drew are really pivotal in that sense, because like I said before, you know, our characters get to live in a world without having had a narrative created for them as to like why they're there, you know? Whereas I think a lot that really happens, I find it happens quite often when um when actors are hired who aren't, who don't represent that authentic what literature has already created, like that. So like, you know, as the Bobbsey Twins are, they're Caucasian, we're brown, and I think because there's no narrative surrounding that and we're plopped in the world, that's the win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now we're able to just exist normally. I mean, like, we're humans too. And so why can't a brown person tell this story from their eyes as well? Like, we read the novels, you know, we read the series, we're experiencing it as well, and we love that literature as well. And so I think in that sense, that's massive. And like from a couple years from now, I really do think like with all these movements happening, there's just been a light shed on to more like American Hollywood productions, and and how they really haven't really been representing authentically the public and who we are. It's moving forward. I feel like there's a lot of work to do still, because in my opinion, representation and diversity just doesn't encompass the color of your skin. It's everything, you know. It's like how you associate yourself, you know. It's like the way you look physically. And I think we're kind of getting there. We're not there yet. And, you know, I have such a big voice in that. People know my opinions, but like, you know,
it is so complex, right?
It's so complex. And I think we're slowly working there, but like I feel like this is a great win. And I think these next few years are really going to produce that. And we're going to see more real people. And I think that's an even bigger issue and topic. Like, we need to see more real people on TV, you know, in terms of like what we look like and who we are, and people who are a lot more relatable. Because we're not there yet. Right. Does that kind of make, you know?
Yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah. But like, do you believe that we have achieved, you know, like the point of no return? Or what do you think? How can we make sure that we don't fall back again?
I mean, shoot, like that really's got to come from like the foundations and the groundwork we're laying now. Otherwise, we're going to go back and like we're going to take 10 steps back. You know, I feel like there's we're putting band-aids on a lot of things right now instead to move forward. And I think conversations really have to be had on that ground level so that we don't go back. I mean, I feel like it also comes from us as actors. Like, I got to be, or like people who are in the industry, like I got to be real with you, you know, like I'm like, right. Like if I speak for myself, I'm like, dope. I have a dope job right now where I get to represent this really cool character. Yeah. But because I believe in this so much, I really got to put my foot down on the next project and not be that actor who's like, shit, I got to like get my next job and work. Versus being like, oh shit, this script is not true to form. It's not representing people as it should be. It's a false representation. And instead of taking the job because I want another job, it's got to be my responsibility to put my foot down and be like, no, I'm not taking it because this is not true to form. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's got to start there, and it's our responsibility as artists to, instead of want the commerce of it and want the money of the job, to be like, no, it can't happen. The script can't move forward that way. Does that kind of make sense? And I think it's those little steps that will lay that foundation so that it breaks that pre-existing notion of like, whatever, it's fine, just do it, you know? And then it becomes, and then maybe we can move forward that way because we're setting a precedent.
Yeah.
Versus just putting a Band-Aid on it. Which is what like would happen if like we're talking about it now and then the next job I get isn't true to representing something, you know, and I still take it. That's just me putting a Band-Aid on this now. And then it's like we're 5 steps backwards versus like me being like, fuck no. Oh, sorry.
No problem. Here in Germany, Switzerland, they don't care about that.
Oh shit. Okay, great. fucking potty mouth, man. It's awful.
Oh.
But I think it's like us taking that responsibility. I don't know if I answered that right. Like sometimes I get so overwhelmed with like where we're at, where I don't really know the right words to say, but it's our response. It's my responsibility as an artist to be like, no, not anymore. I'm not just going to take this for another job. I got to put my foot down. Otherwise it's just going to perpetuate itself and it becomes cyclical.
Right. And I mean, representation is of course great, but
yeah,
doing it right is the main challenge.
Is the main challenge. And that's what it is, right? Because we see it. It's like the tale of time. Like you take those 2 steps forwards, you have people in the spotlight who are representing and then who become those like iconic people refer to, but then in the background, shit's still fucking happening.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the Band-Aid. And that can't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if I make sense, but maybe I make sense.
You make sense, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but you know, sometimes I wonder if producers or showrunners, if some of them really say yes to an actor because of their skills, because they truly believe they are the perfect choice for that, or because they want them in order to fit a political agenda or whatever, you know. So as an actress, how do you figure out that the producer is really after the right thing?
You get that vibe because I feel like as an actor, we're really empathetic and intuitive innately. And so I feel like once initial conversations are being had about a project and the character, you kind of like get a sense as to like what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you get the EBGBs talking to someone and you're like, oh shoot, I don't know if I like you because like you're creeping me out. Or like, you know, like when you have a gut instinct about like you think you're being like gaslit on something, like maybe gaslighting is a strong word, but you know, manipulated or something, you do get those initial vibes, and then you kind of make the choice of, do I want to fit into this? Do I, you know, are the other variables strong enough for me to still continue on with this project or not? Because it's still there. I gotta say though, like with Nancy Drew, the executive producers and the showrunners are so freaking amazing. Like they're so dope. And you can tell, like, even being on set, I'm like, these actors, like they are all trained, brilliant, freaking incredible actors. And like the stuff they do on set is wild. And like, I'm like, at least on this show, they were all hired for their skill and their talent and what they're bringing to their characters. And there was no political agenda at all, because they're all like, besides what they bring to the show, like they're so talented. Like they're musicians and like, you know, they're theater actors and they're trained in incredible places. And so that it's that skill that's actually is why they were hired, for sure.
That is beautiful, because it also what you said earlier, you know, what I love about the show is that, you know, sometimes you feel like that shows are talking to you, and you know, I don't like it when I feel like they are preaching, you know. And I love that here between the lines, there's so much to it, you know, because you have such a diverse group of characters. It's not about that. And the beautiful thing is that you get to see that it doesn't matter what background you have, it doesn't matter where you come from, you can still connect with a person that comes from a completely different country. And that is such a beautiful message to show to the people.
Yeah, no, it's wild. It is so wonderful. Like, and I think that's why this show got a 3rd season, because it's like you said, it's not talking, right? It's, I know, I'm like, yes. Like legit, because it's not talking at you. They're really exploring elements that I feel like are very relatable, that we all kind of feel.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is so dope. And I think it's because of like who they've hired to do that, right? Like sometimes you totally know when you watch something, you're like, man, you're a talking head, but I guess I'll watch you. Versus not.
It's also what I like, you know, like about Bess, because, you know, she falls in love with another woman, but it's never a thing. From the beginning on, nobody cares that she dates a girl. That is just,
nobody cares.
yeah, and that is so beautiful, because sometimes you watch television shows and
Yeah.
you know, whenever there's a gay character, sometimes it's about the character not wanting to come out and struggling with it, and then
Yeah.
that goes on like for 2-3 seasons, and you feel like there's no development. But you know, being gay isn't a character arc. So, and
No.
here from the beginning, from the get-go, it is about the people and not about the sexuality. And I feel like that's
Exactly.
like the right way to go, because for as long as you make it a thing, it will stay a thing.
It'll stay a thing. And then that stigma associates it with, especially on this platform, right? Like, yeah, exactly. That's who she is. And there needs to be no explanation as to why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just who she
Yeah.
is, and we move
That's
forward
just,
with that. Yeah.
exactly. And no rhyme or reason, and done. Yeah. And that's what I love. That's why I love this show. And the writers, like, God, like they are so, and that's the other thing too. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, man, I don't really have to even work that hard, because it's like all in the writing,
Yeah.
because it's done so beautifully.
Yeah. So you don't have to go like, hey, I have to correct you. Sorry, but
Exactly. Whereas sometimes you read something and you're like,
really? Is that
but not on this show.
yeah, superb.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, absolutely. Totally.
Totally. That'd be a feat in itself.
Yeah, exactly. One of the themes, of course, of Nancy Drew is, of course, curiosity, and curiosity can, unfortunately, make us forget about danger. We saw that with Nancy, of course. Whenever she gets too curious, something bad happens.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, what do you think? What do you believe? Why curiosity can dominate us, and making us forget about the dangerous path we're going towards to?
I mean, but it does, right?
Yeah, somehow.
It does. Like that element is so there. And that's what I like about this. I think I said this before, is like, man, this season really dives into those psychological elements of what's real and what's not real.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you really latch onto. And I feel like the curiosity like is what makes you grow as like a human. And curiosity is why these characters on the show, have grown exponentially from season 1 to season 2. And you're right, dude, like, I don't know, like, I'm curious about so many things. And then sometimes I'm just like, is this like deja vu? Like, is this, is this real or not real? I do that all the time in life. And the fact that like the characters get to explore that this season through being curious about things is so awesome, because we do that in real life, right? Like,
yes,
all the time. Like, I do that all the time. And like, sometimes I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's just that gut feeling you go towards. And I feel like what I love about this show is because it drives so much on that. I feel like we need to do that more in our real lives. And I love that the show drives with curiosity, because I feel like we need to be curious humans, especially the last few years. We've all kind of just like really, and especially with the pandemic and stuff happening, I've had to take a step back and be like, man, I've just been driving towards one thing, and I haven't found the love or curiosity in other things. And curiosity is what makes things happen, right? So I need to take a lesson from this show to be more curious as a human. And I think we all do right now, especially because we're going into such a new chapter globally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I feel like it's so easy for people to say, when they watch a movie, they go like, no, don't go there, or don't go up there to where the rumors come from, the noises come from, just leave.
Just leave.
Again, would you really leave without knowing what it is?
And that's it, right? Because it's like something in your gut is telling you. But then here's the other thing with curiosity. Okay, do you follow your gut with it, or is your mind playing tricks on you with it? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like another completely different element. But it's true. It's like then you regret it. Like, if I'm curious about something and then I don't follow my gut to like get more info on it, I'm fucking dreaming about it all night. And then I wake up with anxiety because I'm like, what the hell? Like, why didn't I just check up on that?
Yeah, and right. And when people go like, what were you running away from? And you go like, just noisy.
I don't even know. I can't give you an answer. Yeah.
And then they are like, what, are you so scared of just, you know, like weird steps you hear?
Yeah. But sometimes I am.
Yeah, sometimes I am also, so.
Okay, great. I'm so glad we are friends.
Yeah, sometimes I have to be very honest. Sometimes I watch a very creepy movie,
Yeah.
and at night I prefer not to go to the kitchen to grab something to drink.
Oh my
I
God,
prefer
yes.
to don't drink anything and just stay where I am.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Or like I hear thing, like I'm in an apartment, so you hear things, and it's because I think freaking boogeyman's gonna come out from under my bed and grab my ankles while I'm going to get a glass of water or go pee. Like I will sit in bed and hold my pee until the sun comes up sometimes because I'm too scared to go.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Like, don't do that, people. That's a bladder infection.
Yeah. No, but it's so, yeah. But it's so amazing actually that movies and TV shows can do that, you know, because very often you watch something, then maybe you have a conversation about it for 10 minutes and then you forget about it. But some you watch
so
something that's true the entire night. That's incredible.
I know. I know, it's insane. And then it's so funny how it just like rattles, right? Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm on the same page. I'm on the same page as you.
I'm very happy I'm not the only one. So, and I don't feel embarrassed about it. So.
Oh, exactly. Listen, it's normal.
Yeah, we don't have to pretend that we are like we can have every movie.
No, we don't. We don't at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, this was so fun.
Really? Oh, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, this was so fun. Like, thank you, honestly, for having me. And it sucks that I have to jump off, but like
that was actually my last question anyway.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm
perfect timing. And I see. Yes, I don't want to block your entire day. So yeah.
No, I mean, although I feel like we could chat all day. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, maybe for season 3 then.
Maybe for season 3. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for putting that out there. Do you hear that?
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Absolutely. Aadila, I want to wish you all the best for episode 7 and beyond. Really, it was such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much. And I wanted to say have a lovely sunny day, but I wish that the thunder goes away. So that's.
I know, me too. Or that it just starts to thunder very profusely.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see.
We'll see. Exactly. Thank you so much for having me on. This was so rad, and I can't wait to hang out with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much, Aadila. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.